Good day, good day, good day, my people. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And this is the only channel we talk about the good things and the bad things and some incident that happened in Africa. It only concerns my motherland, Africa. Yeah, as we all know, something happened again in this country, Zambia, in Southern Africa, a landlocked country where they experienced the death of the former president Edgar Lungu. And that was a drama. That was a drama that escalated on his death, about his death, and the family doesn't want him to be buried in Zambia, rather to be buried in South Africa, which is so interesting. And let's try to jump in what the people are saying about this funeral. To be honest, somebody was the president in a different country, to be buried in a different country is not, in Africa it's a taboo. Like, you don't bury a former president in a different country. He needs to be buried in a country where he served as a president. Provided he was a president, he needs to be buried in a country where he served as a president. Yeah, so the family never wanted the current president to be at the funeral or to deliver any kind of or any sort of speech, because they are I don't know, because of the differences that they had with the former president. I think that's the reason why they never wanted they don't want the current president to be on the funeral, and they wanted to bury him in South Africa. Guess what the government did? The government of Zambia, the court itself, just ordered a stop. They ordered a stop to stop the burial in South Africa, Johannesburg, at the funeral. They ordered to stop. Yet the family wants to bury the president in South Africa. That is so interesting. That is so interesting. What really happened between these two people, or what really occurred between these two people? And so, as we all know, on 5th June 2025, the family of the late former Republican president of Zambia, Edgar Lungu, had announced that his funeral and the burial will take place in South Africa, where he passed away on June 5th, 2025. This announcement follows a standoff between the Zambian government and the Lungu family regarding the repatriation of his remains, and guess what? The church service was about to start about the funeral, concerning the funeral of Edgar Lungu, and the Zambian government had to file a report telling the South African court to stop the burial. Because they need to answer some couple of questions in court, and I feel like this is not really good, because I feel like they are doing this in form of campaign. They are doing this in form of campaign, and both presidents are good president. Edgar Lungu did his best, when he was a president. He built so many roads and so many government structures, say hospitals, schools. He built a lot of things. Now the things that the government was building, they had to borrow money from the Westerns. Even from Asia, they borrowed from China a lot of money, and the current government is the one suffering the payment of that money they borrowed. So I feel like to them all is 50-50. They're both doing the good work, they're both doing the good work, and the only thing, they just need to reconcile, because if you need African freedom, you also need to recognize conservation to be part of it. You can't stand like we need African freedom, yet there's tribalistic and there's some conflict among ourselves, which is not really making sense. Let's watch this video and understand something again.
Breaking news: the leadership of the former President Edgar Lungu under PF regime eroded the national unity of the Zambian people and left behind a fractured Zambia. That's why even after his death, his actions are still haunting him, said the senior chief Mkuni of Tokalea people in southern province. In his statement, he said that during Edgar Lungu's regime, instead of building bridges to bring together people, to bring unity, to unite people, he chose to build walls to separate people. He warned the citizens of Zambia and Africa at large. He said that the people should not accept or they should reject those who play to be victim after causing harm. He said that the people of Zambia should not forget the intolerance. They should not forget about the tribalism. They should not forget about the violence they endured during the PF regime. My people, these weights are so heavy. Now, my question here is that, do you agree or disagree with the words of the senior chief Mkoni? Now, tell me your answer in the comment section about this statement he gave to the public. We move, my people.
Number one, that the body of the late President Lungu shall be transported together with the family from Lanseria Airport in South Africa to Zambia on Wednesday, 18th June 2025, using a private charter made available to the family by well-wishers. Secondly, that following the arrival and receipt of the body by family members in Lusaka, full military honors will be conducted at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, after which the body shall be taken to the funeral house in Chifwema, where it will lie instead. Thirdly, that the body of the late former president will be taken to Mulungushi International Conference Center on Thursday 19th June, Friday 20th June, and Saturday 21st June to enable members of the public to pay their last respects from 09 hours to 16 hours, after which it shall be returned on all days to the funeral house in Chifwema to lie instead. That the state funeral that will host foreign dignitaries shall be held at Mulungushi Conference Center on Sunday 22nd June, and the body of former President Lungu shall be taken to the venue and returned to Chifwema after the event, where it will lie instead. That a valedictory session will be held at the Supreme Court grounds in honor of former President Lungu, a lawyer by profession, on Monday, 23rd June, to be followed by a church service on the same day in the showgrounds in Lusaka, one that would be conducted by His Grace Archbishop Alik Banda. That the body of the late former president shall always lie instead at the funeral house in Chifwema and only be taken away for the above stated functions during the day, after which it shall be returned to the funeral house every day to lie instead at the conclusion of these events. That the body of the late president shall always be accompanied by a relative, the aide-de-camp, and the former president's personal physician. That the period of national mourning shall be extended, and that the two parties shall always consult and agree on who speaks at all events. And further, to avoid the confusion that has been ongoing relating to the Patriotic Front Party, that Honorable Given Lubinda will speak on behalf of the Patriotic Front Party. It is important to emphasize that the family is proceeding based on the guarantees given by the government of the Republic of Zambia that they will not deviate from our agreement or betray the trust of the family and the wishes of the former president. The family hopes that this outcome will bring this matter to a close and avoid further trauma to the family and millions of affected ordinary Zambians. We wish to express our heartfelt gratitude to the Zambian people at home and away who gave the late former president their love, both in life and in death. Your outpouring of love has strengthened us and lightened our burden. We would.
With all the back and forth, the family came to agree that the body of the former Republican president will be taken to Zambia with some detailed demands, like they need this and this and this, and that's so good. Like, you know, the president, he was the president in Zambia, you know. He needs to be buried in his country. How do you take the body of your president in a different country? Unless if he was in exile, yeah. If he committed something bad in his country, yes, he can be buried somewhere else. But he was a good man, you know. He did something good. They are both the good presidents, you know. In his time, he did so many good things. We all know. He made so many investments. We all know. And also in this time of HH, in his regime, he's also doing good things. There's free education, and there are a lot of things to come. And he's also making some solar power, whatever. And you know, they're trying to implement more power in Zambia. You know, generate electricity through solar panels. There are a lot of things that will come. Many more things are coming in Zambia. All they gotta do is just to reconcile and to make sure they're all in one accord, you know. At the end of the time, it's one Zambia, one nation, you know. They're all rulers of a country, and you know, when kings are standing, and there are always some arguments, but you need to put the difference aside and bury somebody in a well-mannered way, you know. He was the president.